Good afternoon, and thank you so much for being here. Thank you for tuning in today for my brief session on From Burnout to Balance. Now, before I dive in too deeply into any of this, I just want to say, in addition to saying thank you for being here, I want you to thank yourself for being here. You chose this time for you, and that is no small thing. There are a lot of competing demands and things pulling on our energy. There is always something else we could be doing. There's another to-do item or errand to run or task to be done, but you chose to take this time for you. So welcome, whether you are showing up live today or you are joining and viewing via the replay. Thank you for taking this time for you, because that's really what you're telling yourself is you're making yourself a priority, saying, you know what? My time, my energy matters, and I am choosing to do this for me right here, right now. And that is no small thing. So thank you so much for being here. Well, I just want to introduce myself real briefly. My name is Kim Hein Beardsley, and I'm a holistic life and emotional well-being coach. My background is in the behavioral health space as a licensed therapist. I'm a board certified coach. I'm also a Reiki practitioner. Um, but what I really am passionate about doing is supporting others and helping them reconnect with themselves and build a life that feels aligned for them from the inside out. Very often, folks may be feeling burnt out or just overwhelmed or in the busyness of life. And in doing so much and accomplishing so much for others, sometimes they may feel a little disconnected. And my passion, my goal is to be able to help support folks in reconnecting with who they are and what is valuable for them. And so, welcome today for the first of six series of a series of six sessions. And this first one is going to be about burnout. And I have worked with folks kind of across the gamut of different professions and walks of life, whether it's professionals, entrepreneurs, parents who are caregiving for their children or for their own parents, single individuals. It doesn't matter where they're coming from. Burnout does not discriminate, and it very often can find the most capable, most caring folks. And very often, because we're so caring, is what potentially can add to our burnout a little bit when we are giving so much. And so, we're going to talk about this a little bit more today. And hopefully, there may be some things that you've already heard, but hopefully, there'll be something that kind of resonates with you today that really just kind of sticks with you, or you want to spend some more time thinking about, or that you hear about and you're like, wow, yes, yep, that is something that makes total sense now. So that is my hope, is that there'll be some gem, some pearl of wisdom that kind of stands out for you today. But at this point, there is nothing you need to do. Just be here, be in this space, allow yourself to be open to the experience and to the information that comes in. But there's no pressure, there's no right or wrong. I am just so grateful that you're here. And so we are going to dive right in. First and foremost, I want to say that burnout is not a failure. Very often it gets framed as a productivity problem. Like if we could just, manage our time better, or if we could just be more disciplined, or if we could just take the right kind of vacation, we'd feel better and we wouldn't be feeling this way. But I really want to offer you a different way of looking at this. Burnout is not just about being stressed or busy or a time management problem or something you have to push through. It is a signal to you. It is a way that your system is kind of tapping you on the shoulder and raising its hand a little bit to say, something is off, something needs to change. And so we're going to explore today what that signal might be for you and how is that showing up for you. So think about this and see if any of these kind of sound familiar for you. This is not all encompassing, but these are some of the common ways that burnout can manifest or show up for folks. That feeling of constantly being tired, even if you actually got a full night's sleep, you are just exhausted all the time. Or you're just going through the motions. You're feeling disconnected. You're kind of numb. It's like, no, I'm just doing what I need to do, but I'm not really fully present in the experience. Maybe you're noticing it in your mood or your behavior a little bit shorter fuse, maybe a little more irritable, that especially related to things that would normally make you a little more irritable, walking around in kind of a mental fog, having a hard time focusing, not having a lot of motivation, really just, being totally decision fatigued, where it's like, I can't make one more decision right now. There's just too many things going on. Or even the self care things, the things that you normally looked forward to. Now just feel like one more to do item on your list. It's like, oh my gosh, even that I'm just checking off the box. Yep, I used to really love that, but right now it's just one more thing and one more task I have to get done. Or everything feels like too much, even the small things. It's just so overwhelming. It's just, I can't make any more decisions. I can't do any more with this. For some folks, it's that sense of, I don't quite feel like myself. Maybe I can't really pinpoint what it is, but there's just this sense that something's off, something is missing. And so just kind of notice for you if any of these resonate, if any of these sound familiar. Very often when we're feeling this way, we think, I just got to push through. I just got to power through it. I got to get to the other side of it. If I can just make it to the weekend, I'll feel better. If I can just finish this project, sooner or later, things will finally calm down and then it'll be okay. I just have to put forth more effort. But actually, burnout does not resolve by more effort. It's actually asking us for something different. So, one of the simplest ways that I think about to describe what burnout is it's that prolonged mismatch between how much and what you're giving and what you're receiving or taking in or restoring yourself with. So, think of it as a bank account, really, where, uh, everything that you're doing and giving for others, which is not necessarily a bad thing unless you're running on empty, but all of those are withdrawals from your bank account. So whatever you're giving energy to, showing up for, feeling like you have to stay on top of, you're performing, you're managing. Again, these aren't necessarily bad things, but if the majority of what's happening are withdrawals from this bank account and not enough of the deposits going back in, eventually your bank account is going to be depleted. Eventually it's going to be running dry. And that's when the burnout sets in for us. For some of us, we've been in running in such a low balance or even a negative balance for so long that it almost starts to feel normal, or we almost, turn it into a personality trait where it's actually not who we are, but we end up just thinking, well, that's just me. I'm just a really high stress person. Or, oh no, I don't need a lot of rest. I'm able just to kind of power through. But those are just coping things that we're trying to do to be able to get through this. But we want to be thinking about, what can we do, or what are we doing, and what do we need to be able to put more deposits back into that bank account so we're not always running on empty. Now, very often folks will think, for burnout, I just need more rest. I just need more sleep and that'll be fine. But that's not always the fix. It really depends on, what layer is depleted for you. Which of these four layers, and these are kind of again the common ones that are grouped here. And so certainly, yes, it could be the physical, where maybe you do need to be able to get a little bit more sleep, but it's not necessarily sleep alone. Think about it, where maybe you've gone on vacation and you slept a lot, but you come back and you're still feeling exhausted. Or you're like, I need a vacation from my vacation. Well, then maybe rest alone, sleep alone was not really the solution to what's going on. So Think about these four areas and, imagine for yourself as far as where things might be feeling depleted. Is it in the physical? Is it that you legitimately need more sleep or it's how you're fueling your body as well? Or the emotional, where are you caring and caring and caring for others, but not getting that back in return to the point that you're feeling numb, you're feeling detached? Um, is it the mental overload? Is it the constant noise? And we are feeling it now in this tech age. There's so much information coming in all the time. There's so much stimulation coming in, notifications pulling our focus. Everybody expects to have a response from us within 10 minutes to that email, to that text, whatever it might be. And the decisions, we're making decisions all day long. Have you ever had that feeling where it's like dinner time and you're like, please don't ask me what we're having for dinner? I have made decisions over and over and over all day long, and I just can't think about another thing. I want somebody else to decide for me, or I just want it to miraculously show up in front of me, but I just can't think about it anymore. And there's also a fourth area as well that doesn't get talked about as much, and they call it the existential layer. And this is where maybe on the surface, we think everything looks fine, or we think we should feel like everything is fine. Like, okay, I've got a good job, I've got a roof over my head, I've got a good family, I've got all of this, so I should be, quote unquote, should be fine. But something still feels like it's missing. Something still feels off. And so it's important to think about what is depleted for us. Which layer is it? Do I need rest? Do I need nourishment? Do I need connection? Do I need to feel seen? Do I need somebody to take care of me for a change? Do I need peace and quiet and simplicity? Do I need to reconnect with a sense of meaning, a sense of purpose, get realigned with who I am? And so paying attention to which of these four areas and then noticing, okay, what do I need for those particular areas? So instead of asking yourself if you're feeling burned out, how do I just keep pushing through this? How do I power through this? Pause and slow down and ask yourself, what is my system needing from me right now? Not what does your boss need, not what does somebody else, family, friends, coworkers, not does what does other people expect of me, not how do I show up and be all productive and act like I have it all together. No, what does your system actually need from you? And so we're going to slow things down a little bit, and I'm going to walk you through a guided experience to allow you some space to be able to think about some of these things. There's no pressure for how to do this. There's no way to get it right. There's no way to get it wrong. This is just increasing awareness for you. And so I invite you to get as comfortable as you can in the space that you're in, wherever you may be. You may want to kind of wiggle your body a little bit to kind of shake out some of the tension and just settle in. If it feels comfortable, you're welcome to close your eyes or just relax your gaze. But start just to kind of slow things down and settle into this space by turning your attention to your breath. And just take a slow, deep inhalation, pulling the air all the way down so your belly expands, and slowly let it go. Just take a couple more slow, deep breaths, inhaling fully and having a conscious, elongated exhalation. Each time you exhale, feel your body just settle in and relax a little bit more. There's nothing else you need to be doing right now. There's no place else you need to be. You chose to be here for you in this space, and this time is for you to check in and reconnect with you. So I invite you to just notice what feels most present for you right now. Don't try to change anything, you're just noticing. Is there tension somewhere in your body? Is there a heaviness or a tightness in your chest? Or is there a sense of relief for just allowing this moment of pause? Just notice and honor what is coming up and feeling present for you right now in your body, your mind, your heart, your soul. And then ask yourself, where do I feel most depleted? Is it in my body, in my energy levels, showing someplace else within the physical realm for me? Is it more emotional? Am I feeling depleted in my sense of connection to others, in my heart? Am I feeling numb? Is it mental? Is it in the ability to focus or to find clarity? Or is it something harder to name? A longing for something you can't quite name, but you feel it within you. Just allow and notice what comes up when you check in with yourself. Where do you feel most depleted right now? And as you sit with that, ask yourself, what might I be needing that I haven't given myself? Not what you should need, not what would make you look more productive or more put together or anything like that, but what you genuinely need. Maybe it's something you've been putting off for a while, but just notice whatever comes up. It might be subtle, it might feel small, but no matter how small, no matter how subtle, there's information in that nudge for you. What might I be needing that I haven't been giving myself? Take one more slow breath in and let it go. And when you're ready, gently return your awareness back to the here and now. Thank you for doing that. That takes courage to turn inward, tune inward, and really do a reflection and look at things, especially when very often we're just accustomed to looking outside ourselves. So thank you for showing up for yourself and pausing and giving yourself that space to check in. Often what comes out of these kind of things, it's not some major life overhaul, like I have to suddenly do these a bunch of huge things and completely in a weekend redo everything in my life. It's usually something small but meaningful. And burnout recovery is not about dramatically overhauling your life in a weekend. You know, that desire, that drive to fix everything right now often just adds more pressure and more sense of overwhelm and can deepen the depletion that we're already feeling. And so, really taking care of ourselves starts with some of the smaller, gentler steps. So, maybe what came up for you is a boundary that you need to set with your time, with your energy, maybe with another person. Maybe it's the difficult conversation that you've been avoiding for a while. It's always in the back of your head, though, weighing on you, but you haven't wanted to go there yet. But maybe now it's time. Or maybe you found, I just need a little bit more space in my day and in my calendar. I just need a few moments a day just for me where nobody else is needing anything from me. Nothing else is required. Or simply permission to slow down. And because, sometimes what we need the most is to stop treating slowing down and resting as something that we have to earn. And I want to talk a little bit more about that. We don't have to earn rest. Very often we have this belief that I'll rest on the other side of all my to-do items. Once I've earned it, once I've accomplished things, once I've completed things, once everything feels like it's under control, once things are all done, then I'll rest. But the reality is, in our lives, very often or very rarely are things completely done. There's always more to do. And so if you're always putting off resting, it's just not going to happen because there's another thing and another thing that can keep coming up at times. And so giving yourself permission to rest is not somehow a reward. It is a practice of self-care. You deserve to rest. Not because you've earned it, but because you are alive and you are human. We deserve to rest. Think about the oxygen mask analogy on an airplane that people often use as an example, but it's a beautiful example. They say put your mask on first before you try to help somebody else, because if you're passed out, if you're running on fumes, you are no good to anybody else. And yes, we've often been given the message that somehow it's selfish to put ourselves first or to take care of ourselves or to practice self-care. And yet, most of us do not abuse that. If we are taking care of ourselves, if we are making sure our bank account is well into the positive, so we have room for the withdrawals, that your bucket is filled, then you have more to be able to give others. And so if we take care of ourselves, we're actually more present in the moment with our loved ones. We are more engaged in our life. We can be more productive at work if we're taking the time that we need. And so we deserve rest. We need it. Practicing self-care is so important. So put your oxygen mask on first, and everyone around you will benefit from that because you'll be able to really be there for them. So three short things, but powerful and meaningful areas that you can start with if you're like, okay, I want to do something, but what can I do? Is the first one is just create a 1-minute pause. So between activities, events, to-do items, moving from one task to another or meeting to another, just pause, take a breath, check in with yourself and say, what do I need right now? You don't have to act on the answer every time, but honestly, just asking the question consistently helps to rebuild that connection between you and what your needs are. You are showing up for you simply by asking. And so just 1 minute, one breath, just pausing while you're moving from one activity to another to check in. What do I need right now? The second one is do one restorative thing today, not tomorrow, not waiting for a vacation, something small that you can do today that puts deposits back into your bank account, back into your energy reserve bank account. So maybe it's going for a short walk, sitting and enjoying a cup of tea without scrolling on your phone. 5 minutes all to yourself, just for you, just a moment of quiet, something that puts those deposits back instead of withdrawing. And then pausing again to notice what's actually draining you, starting to pay attention when you're in different environments and interactions and activities. keeping track of, what is it that's really depleting me? Very often it's not these huge things, it's the small accumulation of a bunch of things that add up over time. It's the, conversation that you have been dreading and you keep putting it off. It's the social obligations that you really didn't, it made you feel worse than it made you feel better. Those times that you're saying yes when you really wanted to say no. Um, and so noticing how your energy feels after some of these interactions and activities, your body will let you know how you're feeling. And so much of this just starts with pausing and tuning in and increasing our awareness and making these small shifts add up over time. Ways that you're putting your deposits back into your bank account. They compound, they rebuild the foundation that lets you live, lets you thrive, not just functioning or getting through or powering through. So, if there's one thing that I really would like you to take away from today, it is that burnout is not a sign that you're failing. It is a signal. It is a signal that something needs your attention, your care, or realignment. And when you start listening to that signal, even in small ways, things begin to shift. And so just stop and listen. You're tuning in without judgment. You're showing up for yourself with a sense of curiosity of what do I need right now? You're showing yourself some kindness, not criticism. And you're able to say, I'm a person. Everybody has limits. It is not a weakness that I have limits. They're information for me, and I deserve to feel well right now in this life, not waiting for a vacation or the future or after I've fixed everything or achieved everything or helped everyone. I deserve to feel well right now. And what is it that I need? So, taking that time to pause because you deserve moments of rest. You deserve clarity and connection, and you deserve to feel like yourself again. I see this happen over and over. It's not because somebody has overhauled their life completely, but they have made significant progress in adding deposits to their bank account through these small, consistent ways that they're showing up for themselves. And so, again, I invite you this week to do one of these steps, that minute of pause before each transition. One restorative thing today, not tomorrow. And tuning inward to notice what's draining you and trusting your body's signals. If any of this has resonated with you, this is exactly the kind of work that I do with the one-on-one work with the coaching, where I am supporting folks in reconnecting with themselves and getting into alignment and creating that alignment from the inside out. And so maybe that's, working through what's been blocking you or learning to set better boundaries, or you just need someone to hold a supportive space for you. That's what I'm able to do. That's what I am here for. And so you're welcome to explore further on my website. You can reach out to me through my website as well. And regardless of whether you reach out or that's your next step with me or not, I'm really glad that you're here. I'm glad that you took this time for you, this moment of pause. You showed up for yourself by being here, and that is no small thing. And I hope that you own that for you. So take care of yourself this week. Show up for yourself in one small, intentional way. Thank you so much for being here. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your afternoon. Take care.